Hello and welcome. Now, it's a long while since you've seen my face on here. I am using a different system because we can't go live in the Facebook groups as we used to with our streaming services. I'm trying the system that Jackie's got with a different stand, and it actually you'll see the screen at the ceiling for a little while, but welcome. This is our May edition, and may we share something new with you. So this is from the new catalogue. We now have 3 catalogues. It's not an annual catalogue, it's 3 individual catalogues throughout the year. So I'm going to get you down onto the table and share with you the product I'm using today. Okay, so just bear with me one moment. Oh look, and it worked. There we go. Just a little bit there, you can see the stamp team there that we've got. These are the colours in the suite that I've chosen. So I'm using today the Velvet Meadows suite. And this is particularly lovely. I've got the details on here. It's telling me in here the colours. One of the first things I love to do is look at all these colours that are listed on the packet here, and take a base card size, a half sheet of cardstock, and just fan those out. So we can have a look at those alongside the papers. Okay, so if I just leave those off the side of the stand there. These are the beautiful papers. Now, every single one of these has a flocking on it. And I just love them. They're my sort of colours. They're just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to go through with the fronts first. So there's this one here, and then a whole sheet of this one. So ideal for scrapbookers, but equally as easily for the card makers. We can cut these up. And then this one here, they've got the flocking here on the, in between the leaves in here, there's some flocking. I can feel it. It's hard, and on the middles of the flowers. It's very hard to show you on the camera. I'll try and bring that up. I don't think you can actually see that on there, but this one might be easier to see. This one actually reminds me of wallpaper. So if any of you who know old-fashioned wallpaper, certainly in the UK we used to have it when I was growing up, and it's got this velvety sheen to it. It's really pretty. I'm just looking to see I'm live in the group. It's not actually coming up on there. I'm just hoping it is in the right place. Oh, Francis, you're watching. I can actually see comments on here as well. I'm so pleased. I'm nearly back to my old self. Maybe I can go doing my regulars again. So this flocking is beautiful. So that's on this one, the flocking like the wallpaper. This one has got the leaves here, all this fern, and the leaves are all flocked. And then this one, there's just some slight elements on here, which are the little flowers. Just along here, you can just see the texture. I'm seeing already, one of the problems I've got here is the shadow of my camera. That's the least of my problems, as long as everything's not upside down on its side, standing on its head, etc. So I'm going to show you some tips with this one at the end. Okay, so I'll leave the sheet on the top. But for today, I'm going to be playing with the first sheet that I showed you. Well, actually, I'm using a little bit of each. I'll show you as I go along. Let me get those out of the way, so clear the deck. But before I move on, I'm just going to very quickly go through. This is a velveteen paper. This is the Velveteen Assortment 12x12. You actually get 6 pieces in here, and you get 2 of each colour. So I'm just going to slide these apart. They have put them back to back so that the velvet doesn't get squashed. Okay, so that's the colours. It is the Bubble Bath one. This is one of the new colours. This is the Peaceful Pine, and then the white at the back here. All right, but I just wanted to mention them because they're part of the suite. I'm not actually using those today, but I just thought I'd let you see the whole suite, the other bits we're using as we go. So for today, I have prepped a card. Got my pieces here. I'm going to move these out of the way now. This was just to give you an idea so you can see, as you look beside the papers, which colours actually go with that and what you could do with that. I like to start off with that with every single packet and put those in the back of the packet. So today I'm going to do a little bit of a fancy fold. I have prepped a lot of this beforehand. So this is a plain strip of card. This is roughly about 2.5 centimetres, inches. Sorry, let me just do this for you. I didn't put my post-its on. I hadn't got any of the right size ones. It's just under 2.5, but in the metric, for me, it was 6 centimetres wide. And I've done it the whole length of your card. Do not worry about measurements at this stage. Then what I've done is taken this is the Everyday Archers Suite, but it's not, the stamps haven't held over, the dies have. So I wanted to just show you those and take the packet away. So these are the dies that I've used, and I've used them in all different sizes. So they're so versatile because you've got so many different sizes in there, and a range of things we can do those. I just wanted to mention to you a little tip that I picked up, so I just thought I'd show you as well. I've done these in the same colours, just so that you know, you don't need to see all of them maybe, but you can see I've done this whole set on another project, and I've used the largest one. I just wanted you to know that the largest one will cut out of a half-size sheet of card. Okay, so that's one of my tips for today. You get 2 of these, just cut your card in half. You can get 2 side-by-side widthways. Now that works for the UK. I haven't obviously got the US size. You might be a little bit small on your margins here, because you're narrower but longer than us, I believe, or shorter and fatter. I can't remember. Shorter and fatter, I think. You might be okay. So one of my American friends maybe can just pop a little comment in there and just say, yes, it works for us as well on the imperial size. So I've pre-cut these for you. I'm going to get those along there, move those along the bus, and that along the bus, clear the deck a little bit. So in the catalogue, I'll show you the reference to that when we finish. I've cut these in Peaceful Pine. I think this was the 3rd largest size. Now I'm going to start by building my layers. I've designed what I want to put on these, but I want to just show you as I go along. I'm going to line this up along the edge of my card here. I'm going to grab some trusted Tombow, our multi-purpose glue, and I want to just make myself a little thumb mark there as to where I'm going up to with the glue. So I'm going to come down here and not go beyond that point. Okay, and then I'm going to place this in this bottom corner on the bottom here. Okay. So I'm going to place that on there. So it's lined up on these 2 sides. Press that down nicely. Oh, a little bit squeezed out there. Just a little piece of paper just to wipe that away. One's come out a little bit juicy, hasn't it? Then we won't see that later, so that's going to be good. So what I'm going to do now is, where do we score this? Do we score right up to the card? Do we leave it a little gap? How big a gap do we leave? So I'm going to take my trimmer and show you exactly what I did. Okay. So I'm going to use a score blade. I've turned this over and I'm going to place the side of this die, just to make sure that's in shot, the side of this die along the black piece of strip here. So that's there. It's not on the cutting line. It's just inside of that. Okay. So I'm going to take my score tool and I'm going to come down and score that little line there. Okay. We're going to do exactly the same in a minute, but I'm just going to, this is going to be my front panel. So I want this one to work away from me, but I like to make sure on this side that everything's lined up nicely. So I grab my bone folder here, just hiding under the ruler. I'm just going to bone fold that one there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is leave that folded over and I'm going to take my next piece, this one here, and line those up and move that along a little bit. Sorry for my hands. There we go. So I'm now going to place this one on here and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to make a little mark where I know I'm going to be safe with my Tombow. I'll try not to be quite so heavy-handed this time. Just come down here, along there, a little bit in the middle. Okay, you can see that, can't you? That's it. And I'm going to place that over there like so. This time I'm not going all the way up to the fold. I'm just going to line this up. You've got a bit of squidgeability with the Tombow. Make sure that they're lined up squares. We want all of this when we finish. We want all of this to be nice and concertina together. Okay, just going to turn that one over to give me a nice crisp score line. I'm going to just do the same. So I'm going to put this just to the side of that score line. Score the blade there. Take that out. So we are going from this way to that way. So we're going to come this way on this one. It's a bit of a concertina. So I'm just going to use the score tool and just run along the edge. And we come back to this way. And this one is going to be my third one. Now you can use any size of these dies that you like. You can, let's just place that inside there. Do the same thing. So this, I think I used the third size down. I'm pretty sure it was the third size down I used for this. I haven't showed you what I'm making yet, have I? No. Well, that'll be a surprise when we get to the end. So I'm just going to place that inside there. And because you've got that squidgeability, I'm just going to make sure that they're all nice and lined up square. Okay? And just make sure that that was definitely scored along the edge there. So this edge here, the surplus piece, all I'm going to do is take a large pair of scissors and run my scissors along the side there and just cut that off, like so. Okay, so it's nice and clean, nice and neat. That goes in my scrap box. Okay, and then we've got our concertina, kind of like an accordion style card. Okay, I can't see any comments, but I can see that Frances was watching, so I must be in the right place. So here's my 3 panels. So now I've got my pieces over the side here. I've cut these in a slightly smaller size. Again, the number of layers you do is entirely at your discretion. You can go down several layers. I'm going to do 2 different styles on here. So this is one of the papers that was just along the border, the top and bottom. I'm going to show you a nice little nifty cutting technique with this in a sec. Okay. Pop this one in the centre. So you've got the lovely stitch detail on both layers, both the paper and the base. So that's that one. This one's going to have 2 layers. I'm going to use the middle one for my sentiment. So I'm just going to put this one down first. If you wanted to be really economic, what you could do, you know me and my thriftiness. I'm going to put this one in the middle. If you really wanted to, you could actually cut a smaller one out of here and put that in the packet so you've got one to use another time. I'm not doing that today, but just that's one of my little thrifty tips. I like to cut the middles of my layers out sometimes. Okay, so just a little tiny border. Make sure it's nice and central. And then this one's going to go on top of that. Okay, it's going to fit inside there. I'll catch up and respond to all the comments at the end. There we go. So that's that one. And then the last one is going to be one of the larger patterns, again with this flock on here. It's quite busy, but it's nice and gentle one side and then busy the other. Just to combine all the papers, they're just so gorgeous. Okay, pop that one in the centre. Whoops, I'm going to squeeze that a little bit around, just get that nice and central. Hi Angela, I can see some comments now. Can we make this at your class next week? Of course you can. Yes, I will have that one ready for you. So this is my 3 cards. So this is how it goes in the envelope. Okay. Now I've got it to this far. I'm gonna just show you the one I made earlier, so you can see where we're going with this. So I'm going to talk you through the rest of the pieces. So it starts off with this on the front. Okay, I've got a little piece of the ribbon there. Use some of the dots, and then I'm going to put the greetings and things in there. So we're just going to finish that one off now, but that's where we were heading. So I have my banners. Okay, for this one I use the stylish shaped dies. I did start off by doing some freehand ones just with my scraps. You know me and my scraps. I have my box here of my basic white scraps. So this is a thick ones, and so if I take the lid off here, you can see I've got an abundance of little pieces that come off mostly when I cut my matte layers for like liners and things like that. I end up with these little strips. So, but there's some bigger ones at the bottom. I've just used those ones on the top. So pop those away for now because I have actually pre-cut some just to save a little bit of time. Okay, so I've done the thanks on here. I'm going to use a smaller one on my sample. I did it by freehand, so I'm going to use these ones. So one's going on there, and then I'm going to do just because will fit on that one, and then this one will be a freehand piece. So I will do that one, the strip from here. Okay, and then we'll just trim that one down. Okay, so these are just being pre-cut, so I can get those ones out of the way. Stylish shapes dies, beautiful dies. They've been around quite a while, but I really love them. They're really good. So my stamps I've put away in a box here. I'm just going to bring those out. Another tip, if you're doing classes and things, this is what I've kind of like done. Just put them into a stamp case. They just happen to all fit in there. I do some talks at another group, I used some of these the other day. So I thought, well, I'll just leave them in the box. They're nice and ready to use. So here's my thanks. Just hopefully you can read those on there. Now I'm going to take you over and introduce you to our ink pads. I'm sure some of the other presenters have already shown you these. Just going to move that out of the way. So these are our new magnetic ink pads, and they're in 2 pieces. Okay, I really like them. They magnetize together here. they magnetise together. You can literally turn that over and magnetise it to the back. So you can use them like that. I like to place them side by side. And they will magnetise together, so you can move them around together. And also when you're stamping like this, you can actually rest it in there. So you're not putting it on the table. So I really like that, using that as a tray. You can still squidge them together, pull some ink in here, use a re-inker and pull some in there and paint from that palette. And then just put them together. The best thing is when they're flat like this and you want to put them together, you just pick them up and simply a touch of a finger and they're together. Yes, they're more pricey, but they've come out in the new 5 new ink colours this year, because going forward, the new style will come out next year with the new catalogue next year, the middle of the year one. So I was holding my breath as I stamp that. And there we've got our greeting in there. So that one's ready to go on there. I'm going to take the Just Because and stamp on this one. Just leaning over the camera there. Pop that one away. And then this is the longer one. This is the You Always Make Me Smile. And those of you who know me well know that I'm always a smiler. I'm going to bring this down nearer the bottom of this scrap, because then that only means I have to cut one side off. So I'm going to pop that in there. Just knock that off there. Pop that back away there. Pop the lid down so I don't go and smudge anything on the ink on there. Shut that pad up and bring that to one side. We will go back there in a sec. So these two are ready to go on. So they're going as they are. This one I just need to trim down. Now I put my mini trimmer on the table, I'm sure. Everything was planned out. Never mind if we can't find it easily, quickly. I will go to this one. Let's move this along a little bit. So what I'm doing on here, I like to just hold this with a post-it note in place, and those two were sitting right under my nose. I've done a check and I've had everything. Oh, there's my mini trimmer, look. I put the piece of tissue, the kitchen paper on it. I'll wipe my Tombow off on. So I'm going to use it in here, and I'm just going to stand this in here. In the absence of a post-it note, we have this little groove here. I've shown you this before, and in this case, that is actually going to work quite nicely for me to edge up to there and come down straight. Okay, so there's our sentiment. I'm just going to cut this down a little bit at the end. Okay, make them even. You can snip this with the scissors, but as I've got my little mini trimmer out, that's a nice and even on there. So I'm going to use that one. Take those out of the way. I'm in the bin. And paper snips. So I'm just going to flag this one manually. Okay, I'm just going to do a snip in there, just a little one, and snip in from the corner to that middle piece, and the corner to the middle piece, like so. Okay, and then this one, just a little snip in the middle, and then come from the corner into the centre. Whoops, flick it out of the way, and then the corner to the centre again here. There we go, and that's my little banner for that one. All these little pieces just dotting around. There we go, on the floor. They'll hoover up. So, how I wanted to finish this one, I wanted to just take the ink again, put that over here, and use a sponge dauber. I love our sponge daubers, and I like to just use a Dymo printer and put a piece. I've changed the size so it's smaller to fit on there. So this is my Peaceful Pine. That way I know what colour each one is. I'm just going to flick this over here because I'm going to take that round the edges. It's nice to touch this when it's against a pale colour, like against here or there. It will show up a little bit more. And if you do this over your desk or white card, you do get a little bit of a fluff, because as you're doing this, it's kind of like flicking off the edges. So I just use as much ink as you need. Just very gently. You can always build it up. You can't add more, but you can't take it away, but you can add more. So that's that one. Just because those little pieces on there are from the edges of the die where it's cut. So I'll knock those off later. Linda's looking at those arch dies. Life's been quite hectic for people lately. And yeah, with my third Thursday class still goes ahead, and my first Friday. But I'm looking to, I've got a show next weekend with Jackie, who also presents on here. And I've got lots of samples we're both making up for to display. So we will have the class schedules out for those as well. Okay, so come down there, just along those edges. Quite therapeutic, really. Let's come along the edges. The corners are a little bit tricky, but if you go in from one side and the other, it's just to give that little bit of colour on there, just a little touch. Okay, and we're just going to flick that shut. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, so now the tweezers come out. Sandra's faithful tweezers. Okay, and our little mini dots on here. Now, the front one I'm going to put on dots on the Stampin' Dimensionals because it's going to be 3D. The front of the card really doesn't matter. The others will need to go down flat because we don't like to have too many layers in there for bulk of postage. So this one I put right over the centre here to fill that little gap, that little void there. This one can go, well, they can all go wherever you like them. I'm going to have this one coming just off the centre. Okay, I'm going to have this one. I like things just breaking that straight line. So everything's rigid, all straight, straight, straight. But if we can break that line, I'm going to pop that one just there. We are going to put some decoration on here. There we go. I think that's straight. There we go. And then this one will go on along the bottom. Okay. Just a little bit Tombow. So pretty. Oh, thank you. There we go. So I sort of like stepped it down in different places. It's entirely up to you where you like to place them. It's just breaking up making a difference on each page, really. So then I've got a container in the dies set. I'll show you the stamps and dies now. So these are the stamps. Very pretty, and these are the dies that coincide with them and work with those. You've got several stems on here. We're going to be using this one today, and I'm going to be using the dies, just dies, I'm not stamping them. This one here, and then the little middle that goes in there. It does hang, but I'm going to be using it, showing you how it can go the other way up as well. But the papers kind of indicate one coming down and one going up. So the choice is yours, but they're just absolutely beautiful. So in the die packet here, I keep some extra little bits, so that I have some surplus, especially if I'm doing a project and I want to make lots of something. So I'm just going to tip these out and find the pieces I wanted. I didn't put them in my tray, but I've got some here. Look, I'll leave them off. I'll be having this long skinny stamp, that one. And there's the other one. There we go. Excuse me. Felt that one coming, couldn't stop it. So this one here, I'm just going to put just at a jaunty angle. I like to break the line up as well, so I'm going to have that just touching that there. So I'm going to put some Tombow on the back here. Just in there and in there. A little dot on the end. Because these branches are so fine, I don't like them to squish out, so just pull that down. There we go. It's just going to come across there, and like I say, just break that line a little bit. These are going to come on the back here, just a little tiny piece of Tombow on there. I've already put the little pieces on there because I knew going live I was bound to lose them. So just to keep it easy, I put those on ready. Okay, and then one coming down here. So it can overlap just a little bit. And we're nearly done. How are we doing for time? Not too bad. So that's those. That's going with that. And I've got some gems. So these are the gems that go with the suite. These are Dreamy Flowers. Okay, so we've got these in the 3 colours and in the 2 sizes. Okay, so on this card that I did earlier, I did the small dark ones here. You can see I made this for the for the Global Inspiration Team presentations today, but they're the first ones I've actually done with that. I haven't used any more of the gems on anything else at the moment. So then I'm going to just quickly give you a taste of the ribbons. I don't know if anybody else has. I will catch up with the presentations that other people have done this evening. So these look a bit of a mess. I took these out yesterday. I was doing a WI talk for with some crafts, and I had all the in colours, and as I took them out of the container to put them on the table, they all unrolled. So I've just got those colours there. So I'm going to be using the green. Okay, so take the rest away, and I will rewind those a little later. There's about a yard on each one, a yard on each one of those. So I'm going to just to decorate this one, I've cut that at a jaunty angle. I'm going to just quickly pop a little knot. On this one, I didn't really want a bow because the bow was going to be too big. This ribbon will probably make beautiful bows. Again, I haven't seen the other presentations yet, so I don't know if somebody else has used these. I like to have the ends flat. Okay, so I'm just going to swizz that round, tie that into the little knot there. It's double-sided ribbon, so it hasn't got core to it. So then I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to just trim that edge there because that edge has gone a little bit as I've pulled it. Just trim that frayed piece off. And then I'm going to do the same this side and just slanty line as well. Okay. So then I have glue dots. Little mini glue dots. So they're on the inside of the roll here. I'm just going to place this on there. Take the next dot along. Put that on there. Squidge that down and then lift it off with my tweezers to place on the project. So I'm just going to go there. Okay, press it down nicely. And I think we're done on that project. So this is where I would write my greeting. If you wanted to, you've got options. You could put a panel on the back. So you could decorate all three faces. It's going to stand up for your recipient like so, if you wanted to. Another thing that I thought of when I was just laying everything out on the table, if you wanted to be extravagant with your card, you could actually cut another set of 3 of the archers and put that on the back. It would make it stronger. It doesn't need the extra strength, but it would hide the line along the middle here. Okay, or you could put a panel in the middle and put your sentiment on there so you could write on the back. So it's entirely up to you how you'd like to use that one. But I hope you've enjoyed that project today. I've enjoyed making it. So who have we got in there? Oh, there we go. So there's my 2 projects, the folded up and the flat one. Okay, now I've got one more for my extra samples. I've kept things very basic. You know me, I like to have quick and easy cards. So I want to show you a cutting technique with these sheets that are a little bit different. So I'm going to pop those aside. The photos will be in the album. Don't forget that. We will be posting those in the album, so you can click on there with the link to this presentation so you can see where you're going. So I'm going to take this sheet here. Now this, to me, I would normally have cut this through the middle at 6 inches. And then I would cut this into panels. However, I wanted to try doing, instead of full-size cards, that would be a good way to do. You'll just have to trim a little bit off here. But then I didn't like the thought of wasting this whole panel down the middle. So, you know I love my note cards and envelopes. So what I've done, I've made some cards that I've done using this sheet. I'll just take that out of the way so it doesn't contrast. So I've made some, I like to have some cards ready so I can just put a greeting on. So this is the panels we're going to be making. So I've kept this one blank so I can put any greeting on it. It's just our normal standard note cards and envelopes. So they're all pre-scored in a pack of 20 and so easy to use, just ready there. Okay, and I can still see the velveteen on there. So I've done 4 different colours. So I've just cut that strip up. This it's got thanks on it. I think they're all thanks actually. This one's using the little stylish shapes again. But if you want a whole run of say one particular card for just a note or thanks or something like that, you can just have a run really quickly, make some really fast and fabulous cards. Okay, so there's 3 different versions because the details are different going across there. So I'm just going to show you how I cut those. So these ones here, I'm going to take this down a little bit. And the measurements I've used, because the paper is 12 inches, I have used inches to cut it off with here. So I'm going to use 4 1/4. Okay, so 4¼ inches, and I'm going to cut that down. And there's our strip. Now I'm going to turn it round, okay, and do 4¼ again. Okay, and cut that down. Now this way, instead of getting skinny little strips here that you can't use, we've got another panel that would still fit on one of our gorgeous note cards and envelopes. So if I just score another one here and show you. You can adjust these sizes. These are just some that I've done for this presentation, but if you wanted to do bigger, this piece here I think is 3.5 left. So these note cards and envelopes are 3.5 by 5 inches. Okay, so that's going to fill the whole front of that card. So if we cut this at 5, okay, we can straight away have a whole, get that out of the way. We can have straight away have a whole panel for the front. Okay, so it no longer becomes a white card. But if we wanted to do something different with it, I'm just going to pop that up there. Another note card and envelope. Scoring this one off the edge of the table here, sorry, out of the camera sight. So I've just scored another one here. You can cut this down into whatever size panels you want. So like I'm going to show you with these ones, you can trim this down and then put a matte layer behind that and have some prepped ready, even stick some of the little die cut flowers on, or a sentiment, whatever you're looking at, or keep them completely blank. So just wanted to show you how we play with those ones. And then this one, what I did for you on here was, I'm pretty sure that was 2.5 inches. Yeah, that was 2.5. So on this way, I went 2.5 inches and cut 2.5 inches and cut 2.5 inches and cut 2.5 inches and cut. Okay, we've got a little piece left over. That's going to be 2 inches, but that can still be used on something as well in a similar fashion. So these are the types of pieces that I used on those cards that I've just shown you. So these ones here. Okay, so we've got a piece. They're just coming in different places. Look, there's that one. Okay, it's deceptive because what you see and what is on the matte layer, makes it look so much bigger. Put it on a card. So that's that one. This was that one. Okay, and then this was this one. And then this one was that one. Okay, just a great way of having some, using some some papers up in a wisely. So you've got 4 pieces we've got on those cards. We've got another 4 here. We've got the 2-inch piece here twice, and then we've got the 3-inch strip down the middle. Okay, so 3.5, what did I say? 3.5-inch strip down the middle. Okay, so that's making more cards. So that's really good economical cutting of that strip. So I hope you like those. And there's lots of, we've done one sheet wonders before. I'm just going to bring you back to me. View the ceiling, my lovely beams, and then come back down to me. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed our presentations today. Next up after me, I believe, is Leanne. And then we have Joy after that. So I hope you've enjoyed today. We've had fun making all these new things, new and exciting from the catalogue. So it's only just recently gone live to customers. So there's some lovely things in there. And there's also a great offer on for joining as a demonstrator. If you loved those ink pads that I showed you, and no doubt the other demonstrators probably will have done as well, there is an offer on this month. If you contact your demonstrator, you can actually receive the whole set of the 5 new ink colours, ink pads, free when you sign up as a demonstrator. So it's worth just checking that out. So speak to your demonstrator who's presenting for you today. Okay, so take care. I hope you enjoy the presentations, and again tomorrow, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye for now.